The furniture manufacturing industry involves the design, production, and assembly of furniture for residential, commercial, and institutional use. It employs diverse materials such as wood, metal, plastic, and textiles, and utilizes processes ranging from traditional craftsmanship to advanced automated technologies. The industry is vital for economic growth, offering jobs and contributing to trade globally.
The furniture manufacturing industry in Malaysia is rapidly expanding and plays a significant role in the economy. However, it exposes workers to various health hazards, including noise, dust, chemicals, and ergonomic risks. In 2023, the manufacturing sector reported over 4,000 workplace accidents, with 45 fatalities. Many workers lack awareness of this hazard, leading to increased risk. This study to explores these issues and aims to propose effective safety measures to improve worker health, enhance productivity, and support industrial growth. For the objective, first, to evaluate the effects of hazards to health and exposure to the workers in the furniture manufacturing industry. Second, to determine the effects of the furniture manufacturing industry to the environment. Third, to determine the required corrective measures to reduce the risk in the furniture manufacturing industry. Next, significance of study. This study is significant for improving workplace safety and health in the furniture manufacturing industry. By identifying and addressing hazards, it ensures safer environments for workers, enhancing their well-being and productivity while reducing workplace accident and associated costs. It also raises awareness and educates employees about potential risks and protective measures.
Physical hazard in furniture manufacturing industry. Noise usually result from the machine and equipment used in the making of furniture, such as drills, chainsaws, and sanding machine. Thus, Malaysia state an employee shall never be exposed to a daily noise level higher than 85 decibel or a maximum noise pressure level higher than decibel. Noise-induced hearing loss among employees is the most frequent consequences of the noise hazard. Second physical hazard is dust. Dust consists of a very small sized material particle. Common dust sources in the furniture manufacturing business are sanding, cutting, combining with sand, drilling, and other operations that can produce fine-sized particles. As a result, workers might inhale the dust while they are working. Long-term exposure to dust perhaps causes them to the risk of occupational disease or permanent disabilities. Chemical hazard. In the production process of furniture, a number of chemicals are used. Paint, paste, gluing, staining, and polishing are just a few examples of the procedures. This chemical cannot be used without proper maintenance and monitoring. Otherwise, the health of the worker will be in severe danger. For example, paint and finishing process. Chemical used is volatile organic compound, VOCs, lead-based pigment, and isocyanate in polyurethane coating. Hazard is inhalation of VOCs can lead to headache, nausea, and long-term respiratory problem. Lead exposure can result in neurological and developmental issues. Next is ergonomic hazard. Ergonomic hazard in the furniture manufacturing industry are workplace condition or practice that pose risk of musculoskeletal disorder (MSDS) and other injuries due to poor ergonomics. This hazard often arises from the physical demands of tasks, the design of tools or equipment, and the layout of workstations. Source of ergonomic hazard. First is repetitive motions. Tasks like standing, assembling components, or operating machinery may require repetitive movements, leading to strain injuries such as carpal tunnel syndrome or tendonitis. Number 2 is a work posture. Worker may need to bend, twist, or reach excessively while handling material or assembling furniture, causing discomfort or long-term musculoskeletal issues. Number 3 is heavy lifting and manual handling. Moving raw material, furniture components, or finished products often involve lifting heavy or bulky loads, which can lead to back injuries or strain.
Now, let's take a look at the methodology of our study. To gather the relevant information, we actually perform a comprehensive literature review using reliable databases like Google Scholar, ResearchGate, and Mendeley. These platforms actually help us to explore key topics such as workplace hazards, health effects, risk assessment, and control measures specific to the furniture manufacturing industry. We then applied the hazard identification, risk assessment, and risk control framework or HIRAC. This structured approach involves three essential steps, which are identifying potential dangers such as dust, chemical exposure, and machinery-related risk. Second one is evaluating how likely these risks are to occur and their potential severity. Lastly, by recommending practical measures to minimize or eliminate these risks. So, by combining a thorough literature review with the hierarchy methodology, our study actually provides a systematic way to assess workplace hazards and propose effective safety measures. Right now, let's talk about our results and discussion. One important tool that we use is HIRAC, which stands for Hazard Identification, Risk Assessment, and Risk Control. These HIRAC help businesses to improve their workplace safety. Firstly, we identify the risk by looking at all the materials, equipment, and systems that use in the industry. This step is important because accident can happen during the process. We also consider that environmental factors like equipment damage, accident, and building damage that could cause losses. Next, we assess how likely these hazards are to happen and how serious the harm could be. This helps us figure out which risks need to be addressed first. And finally, we take action to reduce or remove the risk. This could mean upgrading the equipment, changing the procedures, or adding any safety measures. As supported by Endrawati et al. 2018, this process is essential for creating a safer workplace. So this is our the hierarchy form that have been listed out by us, and we arrange it followed by the level of the risk. Now, let's move on to the countermeasures for the hazards identified in the workplace. These are divided into three main categories and followed by the ranking in the hierarchy form. The first one, we're going to start by agronomic hazards, followed by the physical hazards, and we ended with chemical hazards. So each one of these hazards actually requires a specific strategies to ensure a safer and healthier work environment. So let's take a closer look at each one. So let's start with manual handling, which is a key to ergonomic hazards. Manual handling tasks like lifting and moving heavy materials can actually cause strain and injury. So the recommended countermeasure here is elimination. And one way to eliminate these risks is by replacing manual tasks with technology. For example, using CNC or known as computer numerical control equipment that can automate cutting and shaping tasks by removing the need for employees to handle the tools manually. So this is not only reduces the risk of injury but also improves the efficiency and the precision in the workplace. Now, let's discuss the awkward posture, which is another common ergonomic hazard. Awkward posture like bending or twisting during work can actually cause strain and long-term injuries. The recommended countermeasure here is engineering control, which one of the effective solutions here is for the employers to install the ergonomic seats. These chairs are designed to support the natural posture of employees, providing comfort and also reducing the strain. Furthermore, It is also important to address the root causes of awkward posture. This includes redesigning workspaces or repositioning tools to ensure that they are easily to access and comfortable to use. By making these adjustments, employer can actually create a safer and more ergonomic workplace as highlighted by Sati Anaya et al. 2017. The last point for the common ergonomic hazard, which is repetitive motion. Repeating the same motion over and over, like sanding or cutting, can actually lead to strain and injury over time. The recommended control measure for repetitive motion is elimination, which one effective way to eliminate this risk is by using robotic tools to automate tasks like sanding and cutting. By replacing manual work with automation, employers can actually reduce the need for employees to perform repetitive motions, ultimately minimizing the risk of injury as noted by Selal Kubar and Mustafa Fikar August 2024. Next, let's talk about noise, which is a common physical hazard that can be found in many workplaces. By exposing to too much loud noise can actually damage hearing over time. The main countermeasure for noise is substitution. This means replacing the old noisy tools with the quieter ones. For example, switching from electric tools to pneumatic tools can help reduce the noise levels. However, even with the quieter tools, personal protective equipment is still important. Workers can wear earmuffs or earplugs to protect their ears, and employers should also check regularly to make sure the PPE is being used correctly and provides proper protection against noise levels. By using both substitution and PPE, we can make the workplace safer and protect the workers from noise-related risks. Now, let's move on to the next common physical hazard, which is dust. Dust exposure can be harmful to workers, especially in industries like furniture manufacturing. The recommended control measure for dust is engineering control. By installing local exhaust ventilation systems, or known as LEV system, can actually help to reduce dust in the air by capturing it at the source, like during sanding or using air tools. However, tasks like dry wiping or working in a small workshops with fewer than 20 workers can still increase the dust exposure. Studies by Skipper et al. 1995 and others shows that these factors should be considered to improve safety. Finally, we are at the last hazard, which is the chemical hazards. Exposure to the harmful chemicals can pose serious risk to workers' health. The recommended countermeasure for chemical hazards is engineering controls. So, the employer should ensure that the workspace has sufficient ventilation to prevent the build-up of harmful chemical in the air. By installing a local exhaust ventilation system, or known as LEV system, is essential to maintain proper airflow and remove harmful fumes by keeping the work environment safe, as recommended by CCOHS.
For recommendation, first we have elimination and substitution. First, eliminating hazards by using pre-finished wood panels to reduce dust exposure and automating manual processes to minimize their ergonomic risk. Next, substituting hazardous chemicals such as replacing solvent-based paints with water-based or solvent-free alternative further reduce chemical hazards. Next, personal protective equipment (PPE). Providing appropriate PPE such as N95 mask, chemical protective suits, gloves, and safety goggles is crucial for protecting workers from physical, chemical, and ergonomic hazards. Regular maintenance of PPE combined with proper usage training ensures maximum protection for employees in hazardous environments. Lastly, administrative control. Administrative measures include frequent employee training programs to improve hazard awareness and safe work practice. Job rotation and scheduling help minimize prolonged exposure to hazardous environments, such as noisy areas, while enhancing overall workplace safety. These measures empower employees to recognize and mitigate risk effectively.
conclusion, industries such as furniture manufacturing pose worker to work-related ergonomic, chemical and physical hazard since the industry is rapidly growing and has become the backbone of the economy of most countries, especially Malaysia. The present study highlights the significance of employer prioritization in work safety through the establishment of comprehensive and effective safety measures that include elimination, substitution, administrative control, engineering control, and provision of personal protective equipment (PPE). Apart from reducing workplace accidents, employers may also increase staff productivity and quality, reduce costs, and maintain the business growth and stability.